completely wired, and then we'll leave them completely tired. You know this yourself. You know this in your children, in the people that you teach. Okay, here's something you may not be aware of. Sugar leads to all sorts of inflammatory responses, from whether it's acne, so a boost in your insulin and what we call affecting your insulin receptors will affect your skin, your acne, your wrinkles, all those kind of things, right? So people say, oh, no, that's white witchcraft. No, it is absolutely true that it will affect all of those things. But the bigger story here is that sugar not only affects inflammation on your face or aging on your face, but sugar creates a massive amount of inflammation. Alcohol, coffee, stress, all creates inflammation. Sugar is the biggest cause of inflammation in our bodies. It doesn't matter whether you have a migraine, whether you have thyroid, whether you have cardiovascular disease, digestive disease, osteoarthritis, or gout. You name the condition in your body. Every single one of those, the underlying pathology is inflammation. If you dampen inflammation, you tend to get somebody who all of a sudden is less symptomatic, right? Does it mean that we will cure somebody with rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, thyroid disease, or digestive disease? No. Does it mean that we will calm the signs and symptoms and the pain so that someone's able to have vitality, energy, and happy hormones? Absolutely. I can tell you hundreds of cases where people have come to us and said, Michele, you've got to be kidding me. I've had an endoscope. I've had colonoscopies. I spent $10,000 with gastroenterologists. You've done 3 small shifts in my diet, and it's made that big of a difference? Or how about this? Michele, I've got rheumatoid arthritis. My husband's got ankylosing spondylitis, and my child's got osteoarthritis. And we've spent $20,000 on rheumatologists. We are in so much pain all the time, we can't even exercise. You tell us to do a few things and we feel better? Yeah, it's so awesome, the power of nutrition. It's unbelievable. Okay, hormones. We have about 2 more minutes and then we're gonna break. Hormones. Sugar really, really messes with our hormones. So stay with me on this because you're going to be talking about this at a dinner party. You're going to go, that crazy New Yorker nutritionist, right? She said that sugar really messes with hormones. So we've got this beautiful liver. It naturally detoxifies, right? We want this liver to be humming along and quite clean because we want our hormones to go through our body and we want to excrete those hormones, right? We don't want those hormones being reabsorbed back in the body because we don't have a clean liver. We want that liver to be functioning in our digestion because when estrogens are reabsorbed, what did I say was an estrogen dominant condition? Breast cancer, fibroids, polycystic ovary syndrome, endometriosis. How many women, if you're women, we know that we are surrounded by women, painful periods, cystic breasts. These are estrogen dominant conditions. The cleaner the liver, the better the estrogen dissipates from the body, right? Simple step, but stay with me. When I say liver alcoholic cirrhosis, when I say liver alcoholic, what do we think? Cirrhosis of the liver, right? Just think about this, visualize, banged up liver. We call that a fatty liver disease, right? Has anybody heard that term, fatty liver disease? Okay, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease looks the same as this liver, all banged up, not processing stuff, not processing estrogen, not processing testosterone the way it should be. This liver's all banged up. What do you think this is banged up from? Sugar and processed food. We almost have an epidemic of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Now that I've told you this, watch, you're gonna see it in the papers like nonstop for the next 3 weeks, 3 months. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So we've got this liver that's all banged up, not working properly, right? We're trying to get rid of these hormones. We're trying to get them to remove from our bodies. A lot of them are being reabsorbed. Okay, stay with me for one more thing on this. We have diets that are high in sugar. Now, I want you to all imagine this girl. So this girl's usually about anywhere between the ages of, let's say, 20 and 35. or it could be a man, and they're quite a slim fit. They're what I call a racehorse. They're the kind of people that I used to look at and go, oh, can't stand you. Like, you eat everything and you stay slim, right? So these people are what I call slender rusters. They are constantly eating Lift, muesli bars, jelly snakes, all these they're just constantly eating all this stuff, right? So they're slim people, but they're rusting, or what we call oxidizing on the inside. So they come to our practice and they go, Michele, been on birth control pills for 10 years. Finally trying to get pregnant, have all sorts of problems with my period. Look at me, I'm a healthy specimen, have all sorts of... Go to the doctor says, go to do a blood test. Blood test comes back and says, I have really high insulin. He asked me what I eat. I said, I eat this, I eat healthy things. Okay, well, let's see how healthy. Oh, doctor also said I need to go and have a little look. Oh my goodness, Michele, I've got polycystic ovary syndrome. Doctor said I need to go to the IVF clinic. I need to have to start to look at fertility. Has anybody heard this kind of story before? Yes, if you're a woman, you know the story. I got to calm the New Yorker in me. Polycystic ovary syndrome is not a disease pathology of diseased ovaries. Sometimes, 10, 15%, there's a pathology of the ovaries. Most of the time, it is purely blood sugar dysregulation and insulin. In fact, so much so that the medical community is going to change the name on that. Now, can I go back to this person over here? This affects a whole entire person's life. Not just if you're a female, but the partner's life, the family's life. We know any disease process goes out to the whole family. These people think that they can never have children again, because a lot of them are just slender rusters and they have no idea that it has a relationship with food. How about that? How about that to change the world? Unbelievable, right? Shouldn't all this stuff be shared with everybody? Crazy. Okay, one more slide. Oh, when I was finishing the book, Beating Sugar Addictions for Dummies, we had to stop print because the Journal of Neurology talked about sugar and its links to type 3 diabetes, early onset Alzheimer's, and dementia. Unbelievable, big links there. We know that sugar drives cholesterol way beyond any kind of alcohol or fat ever has. And I talked to you already about messing up the liver. So we have lots and lots of other things to talk about, including a day in your life when we come back. I'll be floating around for the next 10 minutes as well. And then shortly after our talk, I have to rush out because I'm speaking in Sydney this afternoon. So feel free to make sure at the next half that you ask questions. There's still a lot of it. I can't believe how much I can talk. It's ridiculous. So there's a lot more to talk about, but start to think about some of your questions for me, and we'll be making sure that we make the next part very interactive with a day in your life. Thank you.
Very well.
Put up a really good recipe for today, a blissful recipe. But also you will find on our website, Instagram, and Facebook hundreds of free recipes. At the end of today, thank you, whoever turned me on. At the end of today, PJ, you work wonders. You are unbelievable. At the end of today, PJ's going to tell me when it's 10 to 12, and we are going to grab those clipboards that are going around, and 5 people are going to win one of our programs, which is called Low Sugar Lifestyle. So, as mentioned, I'm not Paleo Pete, and I'm not Sarah Wilson. I sit perfectly in the middle of the two of them, and quite often when I'm speaking on stage with them, I actually ask to be put in the middle because, again, I don't think about, I think in an extreme space is exactly that. It's just too extreme, and most people can't live like that. But most people can live with the fact of eating real whole foods most of the time, and with the thought of when you're doing a grab-and-go food that you're actually looking at the label. Okay, bless you. Okay, so let's pick up and keep going. So where we're going to pick up is when I refer to things that were underneath your seats, I refer to them as twigs, fast burners, right? Because when I'm speaking to kids, I will often get them to visualize like a bonfire. And if a fire is full of logs, right? And I get them to visualize and say, let's say you're out camping and it's 5 degrees out and you could sleep by a fire that was full of logs or full of twigs. What would you sleep by? So of course, most of the kids say logs, of course. And I say, why? Oh, well, it's more heat, it's more energy, it'll last longer versus the twigs. And I say, exactly. That's what I want you to think about your athletic performance. Remember, I'm always appealing to the vanity. Your athletic performance, your academic, your brain, your skin, all things happen better when you're having logs. So that's how I always use this terminology, twigs versus logs. So we know that when we're eating twigs and our blood sugar's bouncing around like that, we are hangry, or the people that we are working with are hangry. We know that when we're hangry, we're not thinking about what someone's teaching us or telling us about, or about how to make ourselves better. We're just thinking about, I'm hungry and angry and I don't care what this person has to say. Oh. Moody, brain fog, low vitality, low energy, no nutrients, low vitamin B. When we're eating things like logs, when our blood sugar is flattened, we're satisfied, satiated, brain clarity, vitality, energy. What does that look like in terms of our food, right? So these are just some things for you to start to be aware of, right? Now, all of you can get a copy of my presentation. You have a piece of paper inside your bags with my details on it. So if you email me, it will come to me, and my gorgeous Felicia will send you out a copy. So you don't need to take a photograph of this if you don't want, whatever. So, okay, twigs versus logs. So here we go. So here are some of the common twigs that we eat, of course. Lollies, jelly snakes, jelly beans, lollies. White bread, white rice, white pasta. Okay, so these are what I call the white foods. So white bread. We live in Australia. We've got the most awesome bread in the world. Like, America's still way behind in terms of bread. So here's what I think about white bread. In kindergarten, your teacher said, does everybody want to make Play-Doh today? And people go, yeah. The teacher would give you white flour and water and a bit of cream of tartar. White bread, white flour, bit of salt and water. Why would anybody eat a bowl of Play-Doh? It's like eating a bowl of Play-Doh. You want to talk about poor digestion, running to the bathroom, constipated, pain in the tummy. I have such good, when this tummy is zapped, those digestive processes take a lot of energy. When this tummy feels light and nourished and stuff like that, it's a lot of energy freed up. We know this intuitively. We know this, right? Okay, so here's the thing about white rice and pasta. My Italian mother would shoot me if I said never to eat pasta again. Here's the thing. When you are eating twigs like breads, like white rice, like pasta, occasional foods like that, what I want you to be thinking about is combining it with your protein and your fat. You see on the log side where it says protein and fat? So stay with me. If I have a fast burner, like a bowl of pasta, and I put a bit of olive oil on it and some bolognese on it, all of a sudden my blood sugar isn't going, it's going, ooh, okay. If I'm having a rice cracker, which is a fast burner, and I put some nut butter on it, or some goat's cheese on it, which is protein and fat, all of a sudden I go to my blood sugar like this. But if I was just having a rice cracker, I'm up and I'm down. Important concept, right? This is about, like, I always try to expand everybody's palate instead of taking away food, okay? Have the rice cracker, have the bolognese occasionally, have the white rice occasionally. Brown rice is always better, but white, and if you are, make sure you have as much protein and a bit of fat with that, so you blunt this thing from going all over the place. Does that make sense? Okay, great. That's an important concept. Okay, sushi rice, instant noodles, fast burners, packaged muffins and cakes. I love muffins and cakes. There's hundreds of free recipes on a Health of You website and Instagram. Have a look at them. Have fun with those things. When the heck did the muffin become the size of a doorstop? Like, what the heck's happened to muffins, right? So when you look at these packaged muffins now, they're like 10, 12 teaspoons of sugar, right? So loaded, packed with stuff that we can't even read the label, but packed with sugar. So have fun with food. We spend more time watching TV, cooking classes than we do cooking. You know, cooking shouldn't be hard. It should be a bit of fun, particularly when you have time. Fruit juice. So someone asked me about this a minute ago and about fruit. So here's the thing. When I talk about hidden sugars, I mean sugar as in terms of sugar, not natural sugars, right? Because I believe that the body should have some natural sugars. Now, for some of us that are trying to drop some weight, I like lower sugar fruits, like apples, pears, and berries. They're always going to be low sugar. Your tropical fruits, your bananas, your dried fruits, your mangoes will always be your high sugar fruits. Intuitively, just think about this. Dates, mangoes, pineapples, super, super sweet. Berries, not so sweet, right? Okay, so who asked me about fruit juice before a fruit? Doesn't matter. Okay, so fruit juice. Fruit juice is on the twig side, so I'm going to put this in this hand. Let's pretend this is an apple juice that I buy. It says organic, Whole Foods, $9 to buy me, tiny little apple juice. I'm like, this is crazy, right? So this is an apple juice, and it's made from the juice of 4 apples, right? So let's say the natural sugars in this, let's just hypothetically say that it's 24 grams of natural sugar, okay? It's still going to spike the blood sugar up and spike the blood sugar down because it doesn't have any fiber in it, right? It doesn't have any skin in it. It's just it's not bad to have, not at all. It's going to have some nutrients in it, but it's going to spike the blood sugar the same way a Coca-Cola does, right? So what I say is it took 4 apples to make that apple juice. Why not eat 4 apples? Right? Because an apple with the fiber and the skin on it is going to keep it as a log, right? So if you're having juices, I say to people, have vegetable juices as opposed to fruit juices, or have juices that have the fiber in it. There are some places that do that, okay? Again, this is not about never having that. This is just about being aware of people's blood sugar. When you get your blood sugar balanced, when your blood sugar starts to look like the log side, you are not going to believe the unbelievable amount of energy, emotional resilience, physical and mental stamina. It is extraordinary. The founder of Black Dog, Peter Joseph, is one of my clients as well as a mentor. His whole family has come and done low sugar programs with us. He meets me for lunch and he says, Michele, he said, I did this program. He said, had all my kids do it, then I had my grandchildren do it. He said, it is so unbelievable powerful. And I said, I know, Peter. And he goes, no, like I've had my 7-year-old grandchildren do this. And I go, I know. And he goes, you really do know. And I said, of course. This is why I do what I do. I don't do what I do for money. I do what I do for love. Like, this is amazing kind of stuff. Does anybody know what I'm talking about in this space? Has anybody ever gone through a low sugar transformation and you just go, holy smokes, this is crazy. This is crazy good. And then we slip back into naughty habits and then we get reminded again, right? Okay. Alcohol, particularly cocktails, will be really, really high in sugar, right? So your lowest sugar alcohol will be your beer is low in sugar, but it's got yeast and a whole bunch of other things. Our highest sugar will be champagne and cocktails. Then we go white wine, then we go red wine. And I say to people that are really moving into a low sugar lifestyle, maybe think about having a bit of spirits with some soda water, with a touch of cranberry, with a touch of mint, or touch of, something like that, if you're really trying to cement moving into this space, right? Rice crackers, like I said, they're not a bad thing, but a rice cracker on its own, just like a piece of toast on its own, boom, fire, and out. What do you need to do? Where's your protein? Where's your fat? Oh, a bit of nut butter, a bit of avocado, a bit of goat's cheese. What else am I going to? Oh, a piece of bread with, I'm going to sprinkle some flax seeds on. I don't know, do something funny with it. But it shouldn't just be a rice cracker alone, or pasta alone, or white rice alone. Like I see a lot of kids have white rice just with soy sauce on it, right? Not so great, you know? It's like the fire's up, the fire's out. All of a sudden they've gone from grumpy, gorgeous to grumpy in, 90 minutes, and you're looking at this person, it could be your own child, and you're thinking, what the heck? A minute ago you were the child of my life, and now you're like crazy person. This happens, right? It's not uncommon. Oh, wait, let's just go back here. Okay, so we know on the log side, quality proteins and fats, that what we do is they dampen the blood sugar. So they keep the blood sugar going like that. You can also add to that side fiber. So I know this is a funny example, but this will bring it home for you. If I had flax seeds, which I think is something that everybody should have in their diet every day, a bit of flaxseed, a bit of chia seed, because they're full of fiber. If I took a teaspoon of that and I put it in a can of Coca-Cola, instead of my blood sugar going like this, it would blunt a little bit. This is an important concept because fiber is really key in blunting that. So if you're making a smoothie for kids or yourself, put some fiber in it, like chia seeds, like flax seeds in it. It will thicken it up, and it's great fiber. So fiber not only blunts the blood sugar, but guess what? It keeps all this moving really happily, right? We want that to be moving happily. We want our liver to be getting rid of these toxins, our digestion to be removing them. Not even a nutritionist can get the amount of recommended fiber that we need to be getting between 25 and 35 grams. It's hard. So chia seeds and flax seeds should be part of everybody's diet. We'll talk about your diet in a moment. Okay, pastas, breads that are whole grain, made from good sources, fruit smoothies, yogurts. I love smoothies. I mean, I really should work for NutriBullet. When people started to tell me, oh, you're not going to get a NutriBullet, I'm like, I'm not getting one more thing. Does anybody have a NutriBullet or something like that? If you don't, you really should, because the thing that goes on the NutriBullet base is about this big. You can put your berries in, you can put your water in, or your almond milk, or something like that. Chia seeds, some peanut butter, raspberry with cocoa nibs. You can make whatever you want in that. You can make a chocolate mint smoothie, right? So imagine putting like chocolate nibs in it, or a chocolate protein powder, which we'll talk about protein powder in a moment, and adding a touch of mint essence. And all of a sudden you've got a kid going, wow, this is crazy good. And there's not one bit of added sugar in it. Like there's all sorts of fun things that we can do with that. We'll come back. Okay, almond seeds, sultanas, fruits, vegetables, beans, lentils, chickpeas, hummus, rice crackers with nut butters and things like that. Who likes hummus? Here. Hummus is just it's a great food, right? It's protein and a carb, and in that group of lentils, chickpeas, hummus, lentils provide a really, really good source of iron. So for those people that are vegans and vegetarians, really, really important to be thinking about your iron stores. Okay, let's have a little look at what Jamie has to say.
For me, there ain't no need to flavour the milk, okay? There's sugar in everything. I know the ins and outs of those ingredients.